Hello everyone, my name is Landon and welcome back to the Fright Factor. And today we are going to be looking at Stephen King's The Dead Zone, his fifth published novel and the last novel. Victor Wolf corrected me this on the last video, his last published novel in the 1970s. I know it's been a while since I did my last video, but I had so much going on with school. 2 weeks ago I went on a DC trip with my school and my class. And when we were there, and then I came back, and right the week when I came back, I had a project that was due, so I had to have that week to do the project. I was completely bombarded with projects, tests, and last week and a half of the quarter projects and stuff like that, so I didn't really have any time to do my videos. But now that I've gotten all that out of the way, and the quarter has almost come to an end, I can finally get back to making videos. So today we are talking about The Dead Zone by Stephen King. This is one of my favorite novels. I believe it was in my top 10 until Doohickey, The Outsider took its place. I think it was number 10, and then The Outsider came out. That became in my top 10, and then I loved Doohickey so much the second time that I put that in my top 10. It kind of got bumped down. I think it's in 11th place right now. But yeah, The Dead Zone is an amazing book. It's about a man named Johnny Smith, I believe. You have Johnny Smith. Who gets in a coma for how many years? Isn't it 4.5 years, and he comes out of the coma with psychic abilities where he has the ability to touch somebody, and when he touches them, he can look into their future. He can see in the past. If there's a scene in the book where he grabs onto a dead girl's arm and he's trying to figure out a murder, and he looks into the past and he sees who did it, and then the cops go after that guy, they catch him and all that. He also saves a few of some children from drowning in a hockey accident because they were supposed to have a practice on a lake. Or not a lake, it was on ice, and the ice wasn't correctly frozen, so then the ice broke. But Johnny was able to see that, and he warned them about it, and they still took it for granted, and a few of them drowned. But that wasn't the big... Those were two of the side missions that he had with these psychic abilities. The big job that he had, well, it wasn't really a job, he didn't really want to do it, but he did it anyway because he was trying to save the world, there was a man who was running for president. I believe he was I think he was a governor? I can't remember if he was a governor, but Martin Sheen played him in the movie. I can't remember his exact name, but he's running for president, and when he shakes his hand on accident, he sees into the future that he does become president, and he launches nukes on other opposing countries, causing a nuclear war to break out. And he goes on a mission for the last half of the book to prevent him from launching the missiles and becoming president at all. And you knew that there were going to be spoilers going into this. I said at the beginning of the series that there were going to be spoilers, because it's the Fright Factor. I have to talk about the spoilers to talk about the scary stuff. He does end up dying in the end, but it wasn't for granted because he did prevent the politician from becoming president and launching the nukes on the other country. So even though Johnny died, this is one of his saddest books, one of the most emotional endings. This is one of the only Stephen King books to make me cry. He does end up dying in the end because he gets shot by one of the politicians' guards, but he does end up saving the world by preventing him from becoming a president. As far as the scare factor of this book goes, the really scary parts were, one, going into a coma for 4.5 years. That is an awful feeling. Imagine just missing 4.5 years of your life. You don't know what goes on, where, what happens to, your friends, what happens to your girlfriend. In the book, when he goes into the coma, he had a girlfriend who he was planning on marrying, but when he went into the coma for 4.5 years, she moved on and married someone else. Things like that is not really horror scary. It's more scary along the lines that, you don't know what could happen in those 4.5 years when you're in a coma. Another scary thought is knowing what happens next and what happened then. Imagine looking into the past and seeing somebody's rape and murder. Imagine looking into the future and seeing a nuclear war. Imagine just seeing these awful visions and you know you're the only one who can stop them. That would be a really terrifying feeling. And Johnny Smith is at the center of it all. And that is what I believe is the scariest part of the book. But in terms of horror factor, it really isn't a terrifying book. It's not scary at all, besides those elements of fright. The elements that, you think about it. It's thinking scary. You think about it for a while, and you're like, man, that would be way too much. But either way, so A rating for this book, 5 out of 5. Definitely 5 out of 5. This was in my top 10 for the longest time before The Outsider came out and I reread Doomickey. And Fright Factor, as far as that goes, we're going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's not scary. It's not super scary. There are some scary elements, but it's not super scary. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be giving it as my review and for the Fright Factor. 5 out of 5 stars for the review, perfect score. I love this novel, and 6 out of 10 on the Fright Factor. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're new, and leave a comment down below what you guys thought of The Dead Zone, if you thought it was scary or not, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.